Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Rochester Downtown Development Authority for Wednesday, July 17. Madam Recording Secretary of the room.
Bob DiTomaso is absent. Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Eric Diana. Roger Knapp.
No.
Paul Haig.
It's a week, yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Here.
Mayor Vixen.
Here.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Here.
Marilyn Trent.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz. Christy Tervaro. She's here.
She's here, sorry, I just spilled a bug with the water.
My water, man. There's a quorum.
Got it. Well, that's all that matters for us, right? So, thank you, everyone, for making time for us this evening. We appreciate it. We've got a full dance card, so do we need to get the fumigator over there? Or we
No, I think we're all
No, I
right.
handled it,
got it. Okay, very good.
sorry.
Lisa's whacked with her shoe.
I know.
All right. Well, so the lions have been tamed over there, so I think we're in good shape.
We're fine.
First item on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes. Two minutes in consideration, one for the regularly scheduled meeting on June 19 and for the closed meeting on June 19. Is there any questions or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by the mayor,
Oh, I'll second
support by
that motion.
Germani Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Audience comments? There's nobody there, so except Nick. Well, I shouldn't say nobody's there. Nick's there, so it's not that nobody's. The most important person's there. Liaison reports. Madam Councilperson Trent, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. I only have one report. Okay, so it's July 8th. We had an update from Senator Mike Weber. There is going to be an increase in revenue sharing with cities and municipalities up to at 13.6%. It's pretty accurate there. Increase in projects, 36 million. The community house is on track to get a substantial amount of funds, but they will not be confirmed until the governor signs the budget at the end of July. The Michigan House and Senate have voted to rename a section of M-150 in Oakland County in honor of World War II veteran and former U.S. Representative William Broomfield, who represented Michigan in Congress for 36 years. Election update for the August 6th primary is on track for early voting, absentee, county board, and election day. I guess you can see the evidence behind us.
Yes.
Trick or Treat downtown event and Rochester Pose were approved, and Consumer Energy Family Day was approved. Second reading and adoption of the zoning ordinance to redefine short-term rentals in 27 days or more for residentially zoned districts. For the commercially zoned districts, the short-term rentals stay the same at starting at 1 day. I don't think you can get much less than that.
Your Airbnb for business?
You have to pay for the full day, right?
Yeah.
However long you stay. So the exciting news was RARA is going to construct a hammock park adjacent to their building on the trail.
Oh, fun.
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can all go on hammocks and have the meeting there.
Well,
It'd be a little relaxing.
that's how
Have a
tired I am right
microphone.
now. I might not get through the whole meeting. It'd be horizontal.
We'll have to make sure we have more than, it looked like they had quite a few hammocks.
That's awesome. Well, very good. And that's good news about Community House too, so that's really good news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. We just need ours now, and we'll be all set, right,
Yeah.
Christie? Yes.
So close.
Any questions for our liaison? Seeing none, we shall march forward. Chamber of Commerce, Bob DiTomaso is not here this evening, so we'll punt until next month. Don Sinkowitz, Historical Commission, also not here this evening, so I'm sure we'll get an update from him next time he's here. And to continue on with our trek of only having Councilperson Trent being the responsible one this evening. We do not have representation from the principal shopping district either for Mr. Haig, because he's not here. So is there something that you may have?
I saw him this morning. I have no explanation. PSD, because it was the week of July 4th, they did not meet.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
everyone was going to be gone, so.
Dude, we're just like blasting through this agenda. This is great. All right, thank you for your report, and then everybody else, we will catch up with you next week or next month. On to general business. Okay, so the big one, at least for me, just we've had a flurry of activity this week. So it was an update. It's set as an update, which has quickly accelerated because all the paperwork's starting to come through. So the Graham. we've been going back and forth with the seller, and we had to go before planning, which went great. Nick had a brilliant idea of have door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, which I think solved pretty much all of the issues. So we have a public hearing scheduled, first meeting in August, which hopefully, we'll get direction on one of those 3, and then we'll go before ZBA, and we should be off to the races. So fingers crossed. I would love to, and Christy and I will work on the details, but I'd love to have a groundbreaking sometime in end of August. So stay tuned. Hard hats coming, hopefully, so should be fun. So, and then with that, concurrently, we've been working the deal to purchase the piece of property, as you guys know. So, and as I told you guys before, and I told council through various communications, that there was some hair on it. We were able to get through all of the hair. I think the attorneys are happy. Everybody seems to be happy and pleased. The financing is complete. And because I was kind of waiting to see how planning went before we started to spend money that we would not get back with the seller. In court, consistent with what I told council of what I thought that this deal would end up being, is we would we'd be closing before we actually had the planning commission stuff done. So, but because everybody seems to think we're in a really good spot, we're just going to go ahead and move forward. So the close is scheduled for this Friday. Finally, it feels like it's been forever, and we were really starting to take some heat from the seller. So, and I'll tell her when I see her personally, but I do want to thank her for her patience as we kind of navigate the political waters, as it were. From earlier today, Chrissy's going to laugh at me. I think I had 3 or 4 different versions of the final. It's like, all right, here's the final. Then it was like, no, all right, no, here's the final. No, here's the final. So what I sent you guys earlier today was the last, best, and greatest. So the docs shouldn't really change all that much. Hopefully you had some time to review that. I apologize. I had like zero control over when it literally came at 10:30 this morning, and I'm on the tarmac in Tampa on a jet trying to text stuff to Christy from my iPhone. It was not beautiful. So, yeah, no, it wasn't great. But we managed to get it out because I wanted to get it to you as quickly as possible. And like I said, I had just gotten it, literally minutes before. So, terms basically what we had said before. We really haven't spent any more. In fact, I'd sort of allowed for expenses in the budget, so we haven't got to that. Part of the packet that I sent you, or the information that I sent, was the actual closing document. We have to write a check for $276 something at close. I don't have it right in front of me, but actually, let me pull it up. Christy, I had to print off a few for you guys. It's like a lot of pages. I didn't want to kill the entire forest, so if anybody wants to peruse it while we go through it, but I'm happy to walk through the docs now. So what I'll do is I'll go through sort of the closing thing, which is sort of the summary for it. The numbers page, just so everybody, and this is all consistent with what we had presented to council. The selling price, literally nothing has changed. So the only thing that did change was, and this was working with our attorney and city attorney Crott, we're a city, we don't pay taxes, but apparently the tax year is set, whatever it is on the beginning of the year, that piece of property is that for the entire year. So Attorney Crott and our attorney were working together to try and figure out what the tax proration should be. We're in effect paying taxes to ourselves, which is, whatever. But they were explaining to me that this same situation happened with the school district when they bought the building on Letica. In fact, they had even more of an issue because of the size of the property and the years involved. So that's what gave rise to the last minute change in the closing. It was 275 and change, and now it's 276, 352, 13. So again, economic terms have not changed. The amount that I had allotted in the budget for everything more than covers what we're talking about, it's less. And the taxes were the only kind of thing that I hadn't thought of, but honestly, it's like I said, it's going to go out of the right pocket into the left, or 85% comes to us, and then the rest goes to the general fund. So it'll just be for this 1 year, and then after that, there'll be no taxes, right? Because it's owned by the city. So aside from that, really, I'm just here to sort of answer questions. The one thing I do need to get, the bank wants, and I had sent you guys an email on this one a few weeks ago. They want it's called a governmental certificate that everybody's got to sign. basically allowing, or saying that we all agree that the DDA is buying this piece of property. You're not personally guaranteeing anything. Don't worry about it. You're not going to come after you if, right, the checks bounce.
You get the money.
Right, yeah, well, some of us may, but I know I don't. So I need to get what's called wet ink on all of these. The members that aren't here this evening, I did talk to Eric Diana, I'll talk to Bob DiTomaso, and then to Paul Haig. I'm just gonna give it to you, Christy, and you can keep it up at the studio, and then they can just roll in. I just need it by like 10, 11 o'clock on Friday. Close is tentatively scheduled for 1 PM on Friday, so. Talked to Tom DeLucin today, and he was super supportive, wanted to make sure that we had everything we needed, and he's just, salt of the earth guy, so we really appreciate his support in this matter. So, so really with that, I'm sort of open to questions from a process standpoint. Obviously buying the piece is what we've been trying to do for the last, feels like 6 months, but this is just the first step, right? So we do that, planning, and then lastly, it's not really, that's almost as important, the county stuff. Do you have an update on that one yet?
No, so I'll be seeing John tomorrow, but last that we heard, it was going to Board of Commissioners for their final sign-off. It was already allocated in the budget, but now they have to do the sign-off. So that meeting is tomorrow night.
Got it.
And then once they are reviewing the interlocal agreement that's going out to the communities, so once they bless that tomorrow night, fingers crossed, then that'll come out to all the communities. So at our next meeting, provided that they don't have an earlier deadline that I'm aware of,
Yeah.
we'll be reviewing that here, and then there'll be a version that goes to council as well, because they're.
All right, cool. And he had sent me an email, and that's the consistent with, well, actually, we were both on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So I didn't want to march forward, obviously, unless I had that, unless I had planning commission sorted, and then the economic terms all set, and as everything as I had presented it to council. And knock on wood, everything is still on track. So anyway, so that's sort of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Kind of go around the table if anybody's got any questions. Other than that, we don't have to do it right now, but I do need a motion to authorize us to move forward with the purchase and authorizing me to sign the documents on behalf of the DDA. Otherwise, you all are going to have to come to the title closing on Friday at 1 o'clock and do a 66-page turn and just so with that, questions first, and then I would need a motion, and it would be a voice vote. Madam Recording Secretary. Any questions? No.
It's pretty set.
No, you're good. All right. Motion to direct the chair to execute the loan documents with Chief Financial Credit Union on the purchase of the property located at 265.
I'll enthusiastically make that motion.
Living Dale, support?
Second it.
Okay, second. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Lisa Germani Williams,
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten,
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Mayor Vixen,
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Looks like we're buying a building. So, so hopefully we'll have the interlocal before council for your first August meeting, maybe?
I'm hoping. I'll see John tomorrow, but the meeting's not till tomorrow night, so.
I got you, okay.
I won't
So
know
it's
until
coming
Friday.
soon to.
I'll know Friday
So
what's
that's
going
the
on.
agreement that gives us the million, whatever, right? Or,
It'll have the numbers in it when it comes to us.
yeah, and
so-
then we have not heard anything back from Rep. James' office yet.
No, so that last year, if it has the same cadence, it was end of August.
Okay.
That, because it's federal dollars, so it's a different
Gotcha.
process.
All right, well, we may have bank error in our favor, fingers crossed. But not planning on it. That wasn't in the budget, and if it does, then we'll certainly be very grateful, and we will be before everybody letting you know that, hey, guess what? But, hopefully it doesn't all go to Macomb County again, so.
Yeah.
He needs Rochester.
Right?
Rochester Hills.
There's a Rochester Hills project too, though.
Oh,
I
is
saw
there?
that, I was like, oh, I don't like that.
Oh, no.
I love you, Brian, sorry. Hope you get all your monies, but
Well, if they take it, they can
That's
take
just
all the deer with them, so. All right, so we're in good shape. I'm not going to pass this around now. I can leave it afterwards, and we can execute it. Do you need I'm presuming you would be in the minutes authorizing this governmental certificate as part of that?
I would put it in the minutes.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to go to jail or anything, so.
We'll bail you out.
All right,
That's a deal.
cool. Cake with a file in it. That's all I ask for. Chocolate cake, bumpy
Front
cake
row, you're
preferred, so. All right, very good. All right, so cool. And like I said, I'll update you guys as soon as, information comes up. But this whole closing thing really just sort of got serious on Monday. and it was like 8,000 emails and people I've never heard of just saying, I'm like, all right, whatever. Once you guys get done, let me know where I gotta be and when I gotta be there. So we're in good shape. So as soon as that close happens, the interlocal will be shortly thereafter, and planning first week of August, ZBA third week of August? I think. Last week of August? Okay, so hopefully before Labor Day would be a sweet groundbreaking, so have all of our friends and neighbors come by. It'll be super fun. So we'll work on that. And I know Tom is super excited to, make sure that the bank is involved in here.
Yep, his marketing person has been on my phone every week.
I
and
know.
I'm like, I need to own the building before I can put
Right,
up a sign.
100%. And then, Roger, I'm putting you in charge of Facebook Marketplace sales on the stuff that's there, so.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. All right, good deal. Thank you, everybody, for that. All right, so Summer Downtown Foot Patrol proposal, Mr. Manager. Oh, the Foot
Foot
Patrol?
Patrol?
Oh, sure.
I mean, I can talk to it, but it's got your name next to it. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I know, I was doing something there. Oh, yeah, if you want to go through all that, did they get a copy in the
Yeah.
agenda? So Chief George, being proactive, was looking at ways to help in light of everything that's going on in the world. People feel safe when they see law enforcement present at events. And Chrissy had talked to Chief George at staff meeting about already, before even this, to talk about, at certain events, make sure that we had folks there. And I think that just kicked into George's brain, Chief's brain, that what else can we do? So he put together this report that says that we would have 2 foot patrol officers every night from, I think, 7 till 11, if I remember.
It's the
on the
next sheet.
weekends. What's that?
Flip the sheet.
It's on the weekends of July and August. Just walking downtown, mingling with the folks. We talked about, and Chairman Giovanelli talked about, we don't want to say this is for a certain reason. It brings
not.
back history. We used to have foot patrol downtown for years. It was just part of the police department thing. And so we pick it up again. So all the numbers are on the back of the second sheet from July 19th all the way through August 30th and 31st. The total cost of overtime is $9,100. Chief George said you can pick a number if you want. We would have the DDA pick up the cost of this overtime. If the officers are willing to do it, we can go less than that many hours, or his recommendation is for this full time frame. So I can answer any questions you might have.
Got you. Board, any questions for the city manager? As far as I'm concerned, we all sort of talked about this a little bit internally. This is just bringing back something we've always had before, and it's frankly no big deal. And I think it's good PR for the department to get out there and be part of the community, and and then vice versa. There's a lot of added benefits. So for $9,000, I think it's money well spent. I would ask that we just approve it as the chief asked in terms of the staffing levels, and to the extent that if you want to see more or less of it, we'll certainly hear about that. But I think for the next couple of months, I think it's a no-brainer. So
He did know it's downtown's bustling on the weekend, so it's 7 to midnight. So things are really going on. The restaurants really are kicking it out. A lot of events are going on, obviously. So that's why the recommendation for 7 to midnight, because of the restaurants.
yeah, no, that's fine. I used to go into billiards and stuff. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the overtime for the police from 7 to midnight.
Motion by the mayor,
I'll second that motion.
support by Jermani Williams. All in favor, as a voice vote, because it's budget, right? Okay,
spending money.
Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten,
Yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Yes.
Tony LaPuma.
Yes.
Mayor Bixson.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent.
We'll start this weekend.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. I want to see dogs, lots of the dogs. Bring the dogs. Yes.
Yes.
With the bow tie. All right, thank you for that, everyone. Annual Downtown Maintenance Walk, Mr. Vice Chairman.
We are doing our annual maintenance walk July 24th at 9 o'clock. It's not just for the site committee. Everybody is welcome to come. It's a fun morning, interesting morning.
Donuts and
Yeah, I'll bring the
coffee.
donuts. I'm bringing the donuts. Fatten Nick up a little bit. But it's a great morning.
Yeah, it's fun. So it's usually site, whoever else wants to tag
Yeah,
along.
everybody's welcome to come.
Fire chief or somebody from the fire department usually. Yeah, so it's fun. I've done it several years. I'm gonna try and get down there if I don't have to be
So
out of
that's a
town.
week from today?
Yeah, it is a week from today,
Okay.
next Wednesday.
All right, gotcha. All right, well, we don't need anything in that other than have fun and break a leg, as it were. Actually, don't break a leg. Be careful. No trip hazards. If there is any identified.
I will take
we
care of
fix
it.
them. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, thank you for that update. Budgetary housekeeping, codification of staff compensation. So this is an item that the city finance director asked us to put on the budget. It's already in the budget, but apparently we need to vote on it separately. So there was a 3% increase for the DDA staff, actually for, I think, everybody in the city, if memory serves. So it's already in the budget. We've already passed the budget, so this is just a separately requested thing. And I think, Madam Recording Secretary, it's also a voice vote, too. So we'd need a motion to go ahead and codify the pay increases.
So move.
Motion by Knapp and support.
I'll second it.
All right, Jamani Williams is on a roll tonight.
Yep.
Madam Recording Secretary.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Vixen,
Yes.
Chairman Joe Vanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Sweet. Alrighty, Roo. Executive Director update. Madam Director.
Hello, sorry, I'm having a horrible allergy attack over here, so don't mind me. It's a thing. Let's see, okay, so Explorers Club starts tomorrow. That's our partnership with the city. It's going on year 11. We usually get about 800 kiddos that sign up every year. We already had 3 stop by today, and we have 29 businesses participating this year. Annual business development meeting. If anyone still wants to go that has not RSVP'd, please let me know, and I'll add you to our count. We are currently at 85.
Holy cow.
So Nick's going to bring his A game because it's going to be fabulous. And we'll have food. And cookies. It's going to be great. So let me know. I need to know by Friday if anyone's interested because I have to give a final count to the hotel on Monday. And then, and that invite is right there. And then also attached to that, we have been starting our stomping for holiday because of course you know that we always are working at least a season or 2 ahead. So holiday is happening after this week, which is Sidewalk Dance and Movies Explorers. Then you'll be seeing a lot more holiday posting on our social.
Gotcha.
And that's what I have.
Rust never sleeps, right?
Never.
All right, very good. Nice to see us just, marching forward and trying to keep everybody engaged and entertained, fun and driving. Folks downtown, events and marketing, so that's kind of a 2-for-1, right?
Kind of a 2-for-1. The only one I would mention, this is a new event, or actually I should say it's a second annual event. On July 27th at the Farmers Market, we're doing Dog Days of Summer. We did that last year, and people got such a kick out of it, and we got little custom bandanas made.
That was super
That say
fun,
local
yeah.
pup in
Yeah.
Rochester. There's a little picture that Taylor included in her report, so we're going to be giving those out. Last year, we gave out about 200 bandanas.
All right, well, Guido would like one, so set it aside.
Yes, we can set one aside, that's no problem. So we're excited. It's going to be a busy month or so.
Fantastic, awesome sauce. All right, that's good. Financial report is in your packet. If you have any questions for the director or myself, let me know. Biz Dev, Paul's not here.
Nope, but the update is really the business
gotcha.
development
Yep,
meetings,
yep,
what we're
yep,
really
yep.
working
I'm
on right
sorry.
now. And then Expo is coming up in November, so you'll hear more about that.
Gotcha, and other than the maintenance walk, is anything else going on site and maybe buying a building or something?
The Graham, let's do it.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited.
All right, so it's presuming everything goes well on Friday, I will send everybody a note and said, it's a boy, or it's a girl, or whatever it is, we'll identify it, but it'll be born on Friday at 1 o'clock, so we shall go from there. So, all right, with that, I mean, I don't want to say it's a record, but it's a pretty darn fast meeting, so.
We just need everybody to sign.
Yeah, so it's already been this way, I think, so I think, Lisa, you're the only one left, and then we'll go, or actually, Tony as well. So there, Vice Chair. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Lisa?
I'm not good. You're not rid of me yet. We're
Oh,
good.
dear. And then just give it to Christie and she'll
fall
keep
over
it
it,
for,
yeah.
yeah. And then, once it's done, just shoot me a note or ring me up and then I'll either come pick it up or stop by on my way to the close. Yeah, so with that, I guess we're at miscellaneous. Any other parting words of wisdom from the peanut gallery?
Like, I got
Yes, sir.
is this miscellaneous? I wanted to ask Nick
Yeah.
a couple things. The one thing is not having to do with the DDA actually, but did the trail, Clinton River Trail, I understand, washed out? What caused that to happen?
Yeah, thank you for that. That's good. So about a month and a half ago, 5 weeks ago, the first incident happened on the trail. So if you know what we traded part of the trail with the Suave group, and they paved the area from, the Paint Creek all the way to, by the Home Depot lot. So about, like I said, I think it's been 5 weeks now. Somehow the armoring for that first bend blew out and it caved it all in. There's giant boulders there, and it just undermined it over the years. Nobody even saw it, and it collapsed the trail. So we've been working with Suave, who's been cooperative, to try to get an easement from them so we can straighten it out. And it's $300,000 just to fix that event. So if we didn't have to put it back where it was, where it's presently paved, and just straighten it out a little bit, it's like $100,000. And then we could just have a natural bank down to the river like it used to be. So that's the goal number one. And this last rain a couple days ago, if you know where the heron rookery, if you look in the woods and you see the heron nests behind the French Associates building, that big wetlands, that's a detention area. It cleans the water before it gets across under a culvert to the Clinton River. And unbeknownst to anybody, it just blew out the trail. Literally, it's probably 100 yards now. 100 yards gone, but there's cracks in the trail much farther than that. So that's what I was just doing on my phone. I apologize for not paying attention here, but and we just came up with a detour signing for it. It could be $1 million fix, literally. So we're meeting tomorrow morning with the engineers, tomorrow at 1 o'clock with the engineers to try to come up with the solution. So picture, it was an old railroad bed, right? So how do you stabilize the ground and then build up another 20 feet in an area? So it's gonna be an engineering feat. They've talked about temporary bridges, et cetera, but it's not an easy fix. This hasn't happened anywhere to a trail like this. It literally would be like if the railroad tracks there and it blew out the whole thing. So it didn't have any indication that was gonna happen. It's just filled up and somehow there was a weak point and blew it out. So I'm not gonna give away information, but there's been a person that lives in that area for years in Bloomer Park, et cetera, and they keep he relocates, and Anthony, as soon as what's happened, Anthony took our drone to get down there so we could see the extent of it all, because you couldn't get at it. And it blew right where his encampment was. So all his stuff is scattered through the trail. And we don't really know who he is technically, so they're looking, they didn't find any evidence of anything bad, but whatever was there, if you hear stories about, there was somebody living down there, it's true, but no evidence that anything happened to him. He might have just left his tent and all the things that he had down there. So we're gonna reevaluate the whole situation. Again, the detour route is Parkdale, north side, back to cross by 2nd Street and Elizabeth and go back to the trailhead that way. If you came from the Clinton River Trail from DeQuinder, you could still go down the trail and get into the Bloomer system if you wanted, but we have big fences up. We don't want anybody even thinking of going by there. People actually went around it today, and it's a little frustrating. It's like, it's not stable, and it's a massive area that's blown out. So again, we have drone video. We already got a hold of Eagle, the feds, Fish and Wildlife, everybody trying to find funding. Clinton River Trail folks, we already met with Fred Phillips and Phillips, I think, and his group. We met out there, so we're looking for grant money. We got a hold of our congressman, et cetera, because that's on us. We own that trail. So we don't really have $1 million sitting around waiting for things unexpected like that. We have insurance, and it would cover a hefty portion of that. But again, once we're gonna get 2 engineering estimates. Fishback's gonna look at it, and AEW's gonna look at it, both which have riverbank experience and stabilization. So unexpected. We're already working on the first one, and then this happened. So it's been a tough summer for things like that. And then just to keep going, if you've noticed it's happened 4 times this year. The fire department's under 2.5 feet of water. There's not enough capacity in the pipes if you could picture uptown, all the way down 2nd and 3rd, all that water goes to 1 catch basin. It comes down Letica to 2 catch basins. There's just not the volume there. So we applied for a $1 million grant 2 years ago, and we just found out that we look like we are at the top of the list to get the engineering for this grant, to design the relief sewer. We know how to do it. It's very expensive again, which would put a parallel pipe and a bigger pipe on top of the existing pipe. You have to get it above the grade of the river. If you can picture, what's happening is there's a pipe in the river, and the river goes over the pipe and it just pushes it back up. There's not enough fall there, so you need to have a higher outfall to get it downstream further. So we're working on that one. Griggs and the alleys by Griggs were just wicked 3 times already this year. And there's no fix for that until MDOT takes their main sewer, the main storm sewer, from Tinkin to the bridge, Paint Creek Bridge. They have to upsize that 4 times the size that's there. There's no way to do that without removing Main Street. So when they remove Main Street at 27, then the new pipes are engineered and planned. That would take the pressure off all the side streets, Griggs and Trace, et cetera. So we're trying everything we can to figure a way around that, but there's nowhere to pump the water. It's gotta get to that storm sewer, and it just doesn't have the volume to do it. You can't absorb the water, it's crazy. So we've had Letico, the good news is, the Letico ponds, that when you come around that bend, they held this time. They've held for 2 years in a row. Before that was coming over the road and flooding it. Now, we got that pipe cleaned out about a half, so that's getting underneath the road. But again, there's 2 catch basins. If you can picture all the way from Parkdale down the street, there's 2 catch basins to pick all that water up. You need 4 catch basins, double catch basins to get it into the big pipe to get it under. So we have engineering challenges. Council told us to come up with a report, find a way to do something even temporarily, whether we pump water, whatever we can do. So we're cognizant of the ground is saturated. It can't take any more rain. If you come to our pond, it's this close to going over the top, even without the gates totally opened up to drain it out. So it's been a challenge, but engineering's up for it. Our DPW, the key is keeping the catch basins clean. So we ran that sweeper constantly for the last 3 weeks on the west side where the problems are. And ask residents, if you have a catch basin in front of your home, if you could just keep the leaves out. We still have people blowing grass in the street. And that quickly, 1 twig in the grass can block a whole catch basin. And that comes up over the curb quickly. So we have it on our website, put it in our newsletter, everything, that please keep the catch basins clean. We're doing our best, but one guy or woman, one resident blowing, or contractor blowing grass into the street can really mess up the whole system. So, Roger, you had something else?
The other thing I wanted to ask is, anything new on that village cleaner property?
So they withdrew, Mr. Lombardo and Mr. Perrick from Dan's withdrew their request. So Mr. Riley, who owns just the collision shop, has now started talking to people about just using that property to repurpose it for something. So I've had some pretty weird requests there so far, nothing that's palatable. We wrote them, we sent them a violation because they haven't been keeping the weeds because they assumed it was getting torn down. They have to keep it at least clean until they make a decision. So nothing officially in. We called the cleaners people, and they were issued a citation for the back of the building along the alley because they're not keeping the vegetation clean. So I've had somebody actually call about that to see about purchasing that separate, but it has 3 parking spaces. So, and pay in lieu of parking down there is pretty tough. Where are you gonna park? You're gonna park in the lot across 2nd Street, and all your patrons would have to cross at the light to get there. So it's gonna be a challenge, to be honest with you. The best thing is if they both get torn down and one redevelopment that's self-parks. It's gonna be hard to retrofit those.
They gotta get more realistic in the price of those things.
Exactly. I mean, one's $780 and one's $1.2 million, I think. So for $2 million, that's what you get, and it's dirty on top of it all. We said we'd work with them on a brownfield. The cleaners is very dirty over the years, so a challenging redevelopment site for sure. But we're committed to making sure the buildings stay painted, cleaned. That's all we can do right now. I really wish they would donate it to the city and we put a park there. What a great little pocket park coming down the hill. But at $2 million, that's not a good investment.
The Suave area that's eroded, I jog by there quite frequently, and it obviously is now worse than it was. So I thought that they would have some kind of responsibility since we moved it.
It's our land. The swap made it our land, so that was the difference. So,
I mean, because we moved the trail.
Yeah, they stabilized that. I mean, the best engineers have been out there. We had 3 engineering firms, and no one can understand how that happens. It's not on the point of a curve. somehow it got underneath all the armoring and slowly pulled the bottom big boulders out, which dropped the whole thing. But they literally swapped land, so that's our land.
So, didn't they change the course of the river a little bit?
No, they didn't, no, they actually fixed it. They spent $1.7 million through Eagle to fix that river, to take away those impact points. And that one was the only soft one.
Yeah. 'cause
Nobody can understand why.
It's lower ground on the other,
Right.
before, when you're, before.
The
you
river's
get
been
there.
better. It's been
I mean,
holding up.
because they've
for
got a
long time.
lot of sand and has an opportunity to fill, they have a lot of sand and then the height
Yep.
of the.
Yeah, it's an engineering feat, but, I mean, the river's been amazingly, what they did, they took
So
it
they
up.
think that they can do it.
Oh, yeah, we can either put a sheet pile and put the rocks back in front of it. That's, I think,
But
$380,000.
that's but what happened to it before was that, so you wouldn't wanna put it back.
Well, it didn't have
the way
sheet piling before, it just had the
Okay.
rocks.
Okay.
So this would be, drive down literally 80 feet. That's why it's so expensive. Sheet pile it and then backfill the rocks, but the sheet piling would be above the ground. We don't like that look, so we're trying to find a way to make it more natural.
Okay.
Make it a patio.
There you go.
Lisa Giovanni.
Thanks, Mr. Chairperson. So as long as we're on topic, are there any updates with what's going on with Chapman House?
So in one of my slides, it's gonna say Chapman House, ha-ha. Because Jeff, he won't talk to anybody. I send him 10, at least 10 people to buy his building, including 3 that were gonna purchase it at the price, at a lot of, more than $1 million, way more than $1 million, to live there again. So he will not entertain anybody. We don't even see him anymore. He opened it up for the Kentucky Derby and had a party there, and that's the last time anybody's seen him, so.
Thank you.
It's so sad that, it's such a beautiful facility. So many people would pay, they're into it for millions and millions of dollars. His dad's, writes the check for the taxes every year, so very frustrating with that one, I know. The good news is, look how beautiful he keeps it. I mean, he spends the money every week to trim and weed, and we should commend him for that. Unlike the cleaners and the collision shop, which they just walked away from, basically. So at least he's doing that, but we would like to use the facility again. It's so beautiful. I know the brunch house folks are all over him, like, we'll buy it from you and just extend our thing there. Many restaurateurs have talked to him, but keep saying, I think, Chris, last time you talked to him too, he still thinks he's getting some kind of a French restaurant or a Mexican restaurant. He's trying to get the chefs.
Well, the last time that I talked with him, it was right before the Roxy was announced, before they acquired that property, and had called to tell us that he was going to be building an event and concert venue, and we said, hey, funny story.
FYI.
And so since then, I haven't heard anything. I did have a restaurant trying to work with him, that they had an investor, wanted to talk to them. He didn't get very far, so fingers crossed, but we don't know.
So not that you want to hear me babble, but at this business development meeting, literally, I bet you, so we haven't had this for 2 years. So I went back, got every single tenant change in 2 years. It will blow you away. I kept thinking, where are all these people coming from? Backfilling. So one thing Rochester Hills does good, if you see a big store go vacant, I don't know how they do it, but they always seem to find somebody to backfill. There's a lot of communities in Metro Detroit, Southeast Michigan, that you see a lot of vacant buildings. The demand in the Rochester Hills, Rochester area is still so strong that you backfill quick. We have backfilled quietly to keep our vacancy rate. It's almost like less than 2% now. And when you see the names, you won't even think about them. They just kind of organically happen. And somebody took Beyond Juice, and somebody did this, and somebody did that. And it's all these little boutique things that we're proud of. And it's amazing when you see how many there are. And then I've got the DDA projects, the city projects, what the planning for the future is. So I'm gonna blast through it fast because we could be there for 4 hours. But I'm gonna stay on point. I have to this time.
I only have the room till 8:30.
I know, I went from north, what I did was go from north to south, and then when I got to a side street, I went this way to pick up the side streets, what's going on. So it should be able to have people in their mind kind of drive that with me. I'm not gonna put up Google Earth and do all that stuff. It's just, I have the name of it, what happened, and I just keep powering through it. And I think we're all gonna be very happy to see how we changed our retail mix and our office mix, and some of the tenants that have come in are real solid. And we're lucky, because it could have been, we could have had a 20% vacancy rate if these things hadn't backfilled.
So it turns out active promotion and events in the downtown is successful.
Amazing. And
Who knew?
yeah, it's just the same story that you hear from the people coming here. Why you want to do a bookstore and a sandwich shop?
Right.
And why you want to do another bookstore here? Or why you want to do another woman's boutique? We used to always get ragged on about jewelry stores and hairdressers. Look at this mix on this board. It's really impressive.
It's like what's the old saying about John Derringer? They asked him why he robbed banks. He said, that's where the money's at. So
There you go. Yeah, so I think you're gonna enjoy, it's pretty cool. It's a good ride, so.
All right, sweet. Any other questions for the city manager in miscellaneous? Anything else? Last, going once, going twice?
That's it.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. All right. We're on a roll.
Wednesday.
So take that up.
Next Wednesday.